Hey everybody, welcome back to Masks of Nyarlathotep, or Nyarlathotep, depending. We are joined this evening by our usual crew, plus we have a guest star, Emma Jade playing Frank. And where we last left everybody, you were in the Juju house in the store where you stumbled in on three guys there, including Silas, and little chaos ensued in which Shelley ended up blowing the head off of one of them, and the other two are now held at shotgun point. And at the very last moment of the session, sort of under compulsion, or maybe voluntarily, he seemed not too reluctant to do so. Silas pulled back the rug behind his cash register area, and it has revealed a wooden trapdoor in the floor. And that is where we stopped. So let us continue. So Silas and this other man, with the assistance of this other guy, have pulled back the rug, and there is a trapdoor. I do want to remind you as well, because I think it may not be immediately obvious. There is a curtain right here, right next to the trapdoor, that obviously goes into a back room. You've actually seen Silas go kind of slip back in there when you've been in the shop a couple of times. You're not exactly sure what's back there, but he has done that. I assumed whoever came in also closed the door to the shop behind them. If that's not accurate, let me know. But it's dark in here, except for the very dim light coming from outside. It is, as I mentioned, a very, very dark night. It is the new moon, so it's pretty dark, except that Shelley has her wonderful flashlight that she seems to never be without, and she's kind of flashing that around a bit. So there we are.
So one thing I did want to ask, I don't know if Natalia would be able to realize. I don't really remember if we discussed this last session. The machete, she has one of them in her hands now.
Yes, it's something of a machete. I don't want to. It's not an ordinary machete. It's like a heavy knife, a long, thick knife but the blade at the end is actually almost like a hook.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Does she remember
looking.
a similar weapon being used on her back when they tried to find Jackson?
Yes.
Natalia is, and we look back down at the knife, almost realizing.
Yeah, it's not identical, but it is of similar shape. Like it has a little almost hook at the end, just like the other one had. You remember that?
Natalia is going to hold it up a little, like kind of gesturing to Thaddeus. Thaddeus, it's...
And there you, sir, and look up.
Yeah, and unless Shelley shines the flashlight on it, he's not really going to see it very well.
Shelley had been kind of pointing the flashlight toward the trapdoor area.
Mm-hmm.
But if she sees Natalia gesturing at something in her hand, she'll turn a bit of the light toward it.
Okay.
That is it. It looks the same.
Thaddeus will give it a good hard look. Not sure how much Thaddeus remembers of the machete, but he can sense the implication. Is this them?
Natalia will turn her gaze over back to Silas, her eyes narrowing.
Silas says, "Be careful with that, young lady. That can be very dangerous."
Yes, apparently it can be used to carve symbols into people's heads.
Yeah, he doesn't say much after that.
I know we're in a hurry to get downstairs and see if your friend is down there, but I'd like to take a quick peek behind this curtain and make sure there's not anybody lurking over there. Is that all right with you two?
That
Frank?
is fine.
Yes. We don't need nobody sneaking up behind us.
Just Frank and Thaddeus and Natalia, just keep your eyes trained on them while I take a quick look, and she'll find a place where the curtain can be parted and kind of shine her flashlight back and forth in the next room.
So she's going to go in?
Yes.
Okay. When you move forward, Silas kind of says something quietly to the man next to him. Thaddeus, if you want, you can make a listen roll to see if you can hear what he's saying.
Oh boy, Thaddeus is gonna be death.
I'll give you a bonus die. You're very close by.
Alright, listen.
You hear him saying something, but it's all sort of just you're really not sure what he's saying. It's a short sentence.
Thaddeus seeing Machete and hearing him talk and knowing she's going. He's not understanding, but he's gonna jab the feller next to him with the shotgun and tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of remind him.
He just kind of, when you stick it in his back, he just kind of turns and looks at you. And in the very dim light, it's kind of hard to see his expression. You're not sure if he is concerned with the shotgun or not, but his body language isn't terrified, certainly. He seems fairly calm. And Shelley, you come forward, it seems like, and it's just a simple curtain, so it's pretty easy to push aside.
So, should I move my
Yep,
token?
yep.
Or
You can move your guys in small increments.
She's gonna try to avoid getting within arm's reach of Silas or this other guy when she's parting the curtain.
That's a little hard to do in this small space.
Right.
I assume you're kind of shining your light on them as you walk by, so you can keep an eye on them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, Silas is just smiling at you, like he doesn't seem at all concerned. He's missing some teeth, and he's wrinkly old face, and he just kind of, when you come closer, he just smiles and sort of gives you a little nod.
If one of them lunges toward me, blow their head off.
Okay. They don't.
Don't worry. Make sure to make them pay if they attempt to attack you.
I'm just seeing, looks like a bedroom. Is there another room beyond this one?
It's hard to tell.
I'm asking my crew, like if
Ah.
they acted like they'd been to the Juju house before.
I'm not sure. We have not been behind the curtain before.
Thaddeus will look up at Natalia. Yeah, you could help her search it.
No. I don't want to give these guys an opportunity to. I mean, I don't see anyone in the next room. It seems like only one of us should go in, seeing that most of the threat is out here. What do you think?
Silas says, "I assure you, we are no threat."
Oh, I wish we had another flashlight. Well, I'm just gonna step in here for a minute. And Shelly's gonna move
All right.
in.
The curtain naturally just kind of closes behind you.
Can she actually find something, look around for something to prop it open? A stool or a chair?
Yeah. It takes a little bit of effort, but yes, you can do that.
I think she's gonna do that. This is very creepy.
Okay.
So she'll find a chair to prop it open just a little bit.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. She does.
And then look under the bed. Look over here where it looks like
and
some
while
light.
she's doing that, Thaddeus, Natalia, and Frank, I need you all, let's see, to make power checks for me. As you're all kind of concentrating on watching these guys, and it's a little exhausting. It's taking a lot of your effort and energy to kind of keep at the ready with guns up and fingers on the trigger, and for any moment they might do something. So yeah, Thaddeus, you're finding your fingers. You're getting a little sweaty despite the cold, and you're finding that you kind of have to take your finger out of the trigger and stretch your hand around a little bit and wipe your brow and that sort of thing.
Oh boy.
All right.
Stay focused, Thaddeus.
Frank is having no trouble at all. He's, as one might imagine, he's rock steady.
So were these just two windows up in the front?
Yes, those are windows to the
Looking
street that you
out on the
guys
street.
came from. Remember how you came in the back of the pawn shop that's been abandoned?
Yeah.
And that's just
Oh.
that's an inside door, a flimsy little wooden door right in front of you there.
Okay. She'll flip this rug up just because they just saw another something hidden under a rug.
Okay. There is nothing under the rug.
And she didn't spy anything under the bed?
Actually, under the bed, yes, you do find something. You find a machete that looks very similar to the others. I'm kind of doing a shortcut here. There's a cloth wrapped up with something in it, and you pull the cloth out and open it up, and inside there's a machete. There's also sort of a long red strip of cloth maybe 4 feet long or so. It looks like it's been crinkled up many times.
Is it wrapped around that, or is it just by
no,
itself?
it's just kind of balled up. And this cloth that it's all wrapped in actually looks like it's kind of like a shawl. Like a red shawl.
Well, that looks very suspicious, a knife wrapped in a cloth, so she's going to take that, pocket it in her handbag, and she'll take the wadded up red sash or whatever it is.
Okay.
And if she doesn't spy anything else right away, I think the only other thing she would do is open the oven, and then she'll head back in.
Okay. Nope, there's nothing in the oven. No,
Okay.
no cakes, no cookies. Disappointment.
So with great care, she's going to exit out and head directly kind of back up toward Natalia.
Okay.
Did you find anything, Shelley?
I'm not sure. And she's going to take out her handbag and kind of drop it on the floor next to Natalia. And then she'll train her shotgun and her flashlight back on these guys. Why don't you take a look and see if that looks familiar or significant to you?
Okay. And Natalia will face the shotgun down to the ground, kneel down, going through the purse.
Okay. The shawl you've never seen. It doesn't have any significance to you. The machete-ish thing, again, looks very similar. It's not identical, but it is very similar in design to the one that you've already seen. And the red cloth, make an intelligence roll for me, please. And I'll give you a bonus die. Oh, you remember it very, very well. The men that were in Elias's apartment all had these red, they had tied them around their head like sashes, with the long part just kind of hanging down over their face, almost like if you took a tie and tied it around your forehead and let the tie dangle down in front of you.
Natalia takes the cloth into her hand. She clutches it in her face, gritting her teeth as she stands back up, glowering at Silas and the man beside him. This. She kind of shakes it at him.
Silas just smiles. He said, "That belongs to me. But you are welcome to keep it, if it is meaningful to you."
Natalia starts taking steps, heavy, angrily starts walking towards Silas. She puts down the shotgun behind her. And as she does, she reaches in her pocket, takes out the brass knuckles.
He's meeting your eyes eye to eye without flinching. And in fact, as you come closer, his smile widens a little.
Natalia approaches, takes her left hand, reaching out and grabbing Silas by the neck.
He does not resist.
She kind of slams him up against the wall, cocking her right arm back.
All right, he is an old man. you are surprised at how frail, well, maybe not surprised, I don't know. He is perhaps surprisingly frail. When you grab him by the neck and he makes a small gurgly sound, and you shove him up against the wall, and you can hear, maybe you're imagining it, but it sounds like maybe a couple of his bones have cracked as you slam him against the wall.
She's gonna be holding him up. Part of the fucking people who killed Jackson. How fucking dare you? Smiling. Why?
He says, I don't remember killing a Jackson.
No, but I bet you've killed many people.
He says, I have only done what I must do.
And what is it you must do exactly?
I must do what I am commanded to do.
By who?
By the only one that matters.
Natalia's gonna pause.
He smiles again. If you'd like, I can take you to meet him.
She presses further into his neck, choking him a bit more. Is he downstairs?
He's having a little trouble talking. He is everywhere.
Is this... She's gonna pause. Is Nyarlathotep? Is that it?
He kind of laughs, but you're joking him at the same time, so his laugh kind of turns into a pained cough. And he says, he has many names.
She'll ease up on his neck. What's downstairs?
He looks you in the eyes, and if it is possible for him to smile more than he has been, he does. His smile widens even more, and he says, your destiny.
Natalia will let go of Silas, easing up her right arm, having it drop back down to her side. She takes a few steps back. Take us downstairs. When it is over, I don't care that you're an old man. I will kill you with my own hands.
He just nods. And he kind of makes a silent gesture with his hand to the other man, and the two of them kind of slowly come forward, and Silas kneels down and slides the bolt back on the trapdoor, and the two of them open it up.
And
You kind of have to stand back to let him open it all the way.
Shelley's going to point it down and see if she can illuminate anything. Probably just stairs or a ladder.
Okay. Make a spot hidden check for me, Natalia and Shelley. Okay. All right. The two of them step back. What are you two doing up there, Frank and Thaddeus?
Thaddeus is just keeping his gun trained as best as possible. Watching them, he's not looking towards the hatch or nothing, but he's watching for like movements from the
Yeah.
Silas and the other guy.
And Frank, you can see that Thaddeus is starting to get a little shaky, and you're not sure if it's nerves or whatever, but you can see that he's fidgety.
Yeah, Frank knows that Thaddeus can get a bit in over his head sometimes, or get nervous, but that's what Frank is there for. He's there to be kind of the steady hand next to him, watching out for him, for if anything does happen, so he can step in and take care of it. So, Frank is standing next to him. I imagine I have a gun.
You have both a shotgun, and inside your coat you have a .45 automatic.
Okay, he's probably got the shotgun out, pointed steady at the two.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an eye in his periphery on Thaddeus just to make sure that, like, nothing's happening to him. But he's definitely concerned, like, either of these two people are gonna, like, jump Thaddeus at any point.
Yep. Yes, that I assume that's fair enough. Okay. So Shelley is stepping forward to kind of peer down this the trapdoor.
Yeah, pointing the light more downward.
Yeah, you can see when you look down in there that there is some faint light source, not immediately below you, but off to what would be east on this map. Down below, so clearly there is opening chamber or hall or something off to the right, to the east when you look down, and you can see there's a ladder that goes down maybe to a cement floor, maybe 7 or 8 feet down below. And clearly it's just a very tight, small space, except that you can see it it opens up a little bit to the right. I keep saying right, but I mean easterly
Right,
direction.
right. I get it. I am assuming the ladder is attached on the side opposite.
Actually, the ladder is on this side, so it'd be the west, and it's kind of bolted into the wall, so it's a permanent fixture.
How do you want to do this? It's going to be difficult to control them as they reach the bottom of this ladder. Do we want to send one of us down first, Natalia, while I shine the light, or do we want to make them go ahead?
No. I'll go first.
Do we want them to come down at all? Should we just tie them up and shove them in the closet?
At least a big one.
Shelley looks nervously at the big guy. Maybe that's a job for Frank.
Good idea.
Do I have rope or anything?
You do not.
Is there anything around the shop?
Make a luck roll, Frank, since you're the one looking for the rope.
Alright.
So you have a macro for just about everything on your token. So there you go. No, there is, in fact, you fumbled. So that means there is absolutely nothing in this shop that you feel, oh, sorry, yeah, value, it shouldn't be value 0. That's because you're not a player character. Actually, I'll let somebody else roll since Frank actually doesn't have luck. Shelley, you asked, so go ahead. Yeah, most NPCs do not have luck. That's a character thing. Okay, so no, you don't really see anything that would be reliable. There's certainly some things like that red cloth that
Right.
you found. That actually is probably the best thing of all the things you found. That could hold, but a determined person might be able to get their way out of that. It depends.
Yeah. And this other guy's a pretty big guy, right?
Yes.
How
Thaddeus is
far
gonna
to the
look up.
bottom is... I'm sorry.
And he's gonna say, well, why don't we alternate them? We have one of ours go down, followed by one of them, followed by one of ours, and vice versa.
That may be the best idea. How far is it to the bottom?
As I said, it's only about 7 or 8 feet.
Okay.
And in fact, as you're looking down again, it becomes apparent that it's not quite a flat bottom. It's actually, it looks like it's stairs going deeper down to the east. It's not just an opening. You see sort of the beginning of steps.
It looks like this leads down to, I don't know, like a landing, and then there's some more steps. Can you see that, Natalia?
Natalia will take a look.
Yep, you see the
Yeah.
same thing.
I do. I guess this goes deeper then.
Is there a lamp in here? Like a portable kerosene lamp or something?
There is, actually it's in the bedroom.
I did spot
In fact, it was
a lamp in
on.
the bed.
Yeah.
Would you go grab that, and then maybe we can have 2 lights?
Natalia will awkwardly kind of shift around this hole, scooting around and going into the room.
Okay.
And she makes her way across, just grabbing the lamp.
Okay. So, what you can do is you now have essentially a torch.
Aha! So bright.
Actually, that's
Do you
a
feel
little
okay?
too
Um,
bright. Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a bright torch.
That's a very
Thanks too
bright
much.
torch.
Yeah.
Let me,
Flashlight? There we
no,
go.
No, I'll fix it. Easy,
Okay.
easy fix.
Extinguish. I'm gonna say, damn, that's a bright
All right,
torch.
try it again. That should be a little better.
I don't have light. Oh, no. Is that it? It's still kind of bright.
That is kind of bright. What's going on? It's giving you 15 yards. Oh, I know why. Because it's in your thing. Here, I'll just give you something a little more. I'm gonna fix
I'll
that
just-
later.
Extinguish.
There you go.
Okay. Still torch lantern? Nope.
No, just don't turn it off. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'll fix it later so that it's steady. But for
Gotcha.
right now, I'm just gonna keep it at this.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Aha, gotcha. So Natalia will look over to Shelly. I will go down first.
Okay. Be careful.
Alright. There's like a handle or something on the lantern, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
meant to be carried around.
If she's able to, she'll kind of maneuver it, and as she's climbing down the stairs, very carefully, she'll hold it and make her way down.
Okay. You grab onto the kind of rusted iron ladder rungs and clunk, clunk, clunk your way down and arrive at the bottom. And you can see that it does continue with steps down in that direction.
Yes.
And you can see that there is, maybe 7 or 8 yards away. There is a kind of kerosene lantern very similar to this one that's hanging from the ceiling, kind of the sloped ceiling going down, lighting the way a little further down, and you can see in the light that there is sort of an end to the steps, maybe 10 yards away from where you are now.
Natalia will, once she's kind of inspected a bit, she'll look up and bow back up to the others. I sent one of them down.
Since I think maybe Silas first. What do you think, Thaddeus?
Yes, that's a great idea. Well, go on, old man. Get down the hole.
Okay. So Natalia, I'm going to move you over to your east, so you can kind of see the steps, and you kind of have to move out of the way to make room for Silas. So don't go too far. Silas kind of nods, and with a very practiced movement, reaches down and grabs onto the ladder. You kind of notice he looks like he's in a little bit of pain. Natalia probably hurt him a bit when she did all her slamming and choking. He doesn't look very spry at the moment, but he makes his way down the ladder and joins Natalia at the bottom.
Shelley takes a moment to grab another shotgun shell and load it.
Okay.
Who next? I've got the flashlight.
I'll go behind the next one.
So maybe you next, Thaddeus?
Yes, I'll go next. Yeah, he's gonna lift the rest of the shotgun.
The big guy in front of you does not immediately move out of your way. When you kind of make a movement to start over towards it, and he just kind of turns and stands almost sort of like directly facing you. You're not sure, it could be defiantly, like he's standing there kind of towering over you a little bit. And he just kind of crosses his arms.
Shelley, having blown the head off of one of his friends, gives him a hard look and says, "Hey."
He can't actually see the hard look because he's looking at Thaddeus, but yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, she does it anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thaddeus staring at him. I look back. Hey, Frank, would you remove the gentleman from my way?
Yes, sir. And Frank's gonna step forward and
When
grab the
when
man.
Frank steps forward, he kind of backs away.
Frank is gonna kind of point his shotgun at the man again. Looks like you're good, Mr. Pepin.
Sometimes they just don't understand.
And yeah, as you pass, even in the darkness, because Shelley's flashlight's kind of raking across his face, you can see he kind of gives you an eerie grin as you're walking by.
And Thaddeus will just see it and keep going.
Okay. So Thaddeus heads down the ladder.
Yep.
Okay. Silas will have to move away to make room for you at the bottom. And he kind of, he sort of looks at you, Natalia, a little expectantly. And when you move back, he just kind of nods graciously. And then Thaddeus makes his way down.
Natalia still has kind of hackles raised, glaring at Silas.
Yeah, you're quite close to Silas. I don't know if that's what you... I mean, and you just have your brass knuckles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like he's tensing or anything to spring or anything like that. He's just... If anything, he just has a contented look on his face.
Natalia's kind of flexing and unflexing her hand around the brass knuckles. Just she's ready in case he tries anything or if prompted, yeah.
Okay. So Thaddeus has clunked down the metal.
Is there
Metal ladder.
room to move around? Is there room to move around them so I can make room for going down there?
You can certainly slip by them, but there's not a lot of room. These steps are basically like a yard wide, so it's not easy maneuvering room.
Thaddeus will move up so that way he can, one, make room, but two, have coverage of the whole area down there with the shotgun.
So he's gonna slip past Silas.
Yep. He's gonna kind of just move Silas out of his way. He ain't trying to like slip past him.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of loses his balance a little bit as you sort of. I assume you're not roughly shoving him to the side, but you move him out of the way, and he's very easy to move.
Yeah. And then Thaddeus will look at Talia. Hopefully he steps out of line as he makes his way by her. Well, slides nicely by her. A little different than we did with the old man.
Okay.
Don't care if he steps up the line or not.
All right. Thaddeus rubs past you, and upstairs.
Shelly's gonna set the flashlight on the ground so that it's kind of angled toward the top of the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna raise her shotgun so she's got it nice and firm, and she's gonna chamber around. And then she's gonna say, "Now it's your turn."
This is not a pump action shotgun.
Oh, it's not.
No, these are all just double-barreled breech loaders.
Okay. Well, she's got it at the ready.
Yep.
That's the point, is that she wants to have a firm hold on it.
Right. Okay.
Get moving.
He says, "Whatever you say, boss." And he goes and gets on the ladder. He doesn't look quite as practiced at this as Silas, but he goes down the ladder and joins them down there. Yeah, they didn't really do pump action that much in the 20s. In fact, I don't know that they did pump action at all in the 20s. I'd have to look that up. I don't think they exist.
They did.
Yeah.
No? I could swear they did.
No.
Interesting.
Shotgun is a hunting and gentleman's skeet weapon.
Well, Frank, I'm gonna go last.
Just nods at you. Sounds good. And he's gonna slowly start heading down, being careful with his shotgun as he does so.
Silas says something quietly to the man again. Natalia, you're next to him. You can make a listen check. Nope. You see and kind of hear him whisper, but you can't make out what it is.
Talia will just
And
narrow eyebrows.
as
Silas.
and as Silas finishes Frank, you hear Frank getting onto the ladder and coming down, and he makes his way down.
She'll take a step back towards Thaddeus. It's getting a bit crowded. You might want to move forward.
Ah, yes.
They obligingly make some room for Frank. Thaddeus, you can make a listen check.
Oh, well, we don't know how that's gonna go.
Yes, we do. And your hands are just so sweaty right now. Like you're. Make a sanity check for me, Thaddeus.
All right. I'm not scared. This time I am.
Yeah, your nerves are starting to get the better of you a little bit. And you become kind of aware that your hands are shaking. And you just have a bad feeling. You're starting to feel a little claustrophobic in this narrow thing with a bunch of bodies down here between you and the exit.
Oh, man. It's kind of tight in here.
And Natalia will kind of glance back at Thaddeus. It's fine.
I hope so.
Well, it's going to have to be fine. We're going to have to deal with it. She's definitely a lot more aggressive. than
Yes,
she
her
usually
tone
is.
seems to have changed a bit. Okay, well, you're driving, guys, so let me know what you do.
Well,
Jelly.
Shelley is going to shoulder the shotgun, pick up the flashlight.
Unfortunately, when you say shoulder, these also do not have straps.
No, I just mean she kind of...
Oh, I see. Just kind of put it on your shoulder. with
Yeah,
one
lean
arm.
it against her shoulder and reach down and pick up the flashlight and think for a minute. And then sigh as she kind of places the flashlight into the handbag, pointing up so that she has a free hand. And then she reaches for the ladder and starts to go down, muttering about, I really should design a flashlight that fits on a hat band, kind of like a miner's helmet. That would be so useful.
Just make a dexterity check with me with a bonus.
Okay.
With all this stuff you're bringing down. Yeah, you're fine. All right, so Shelley makes it down. Frank kind of moves, and I guess by extension pushes them off a little bit to make room for Shelley, and Shelley is down, and I presume shining her flashlight down that way.
Yep.
Once she's got terra firma under her feet.
Uh-huh. Do we want them in between us, or do we want them in... The shotguns are not going to be very effective with them in between us. Then again, they can't run off.
Well, with them in between us, if they start attacking us, they're gonna take the first rounds of your shotgun, and vice
It's true,
versa
they'll
behind
block
us.
most of it.
And I'm close enough to Silas.
Okay then. Onward then, I suppose.
Okay.
Thaddeus, do you really want to be in front?
Well, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I'm shoot some.
The worst thing that can happen is you getting cut by a machete and ending up in the hospital. Thaddeus.
True.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just keep that lamp, ahead so we can see what's ahead. Shelley's looking at Thaddeus's shaking hands on the
It's
gun.
a little hard for her to see at this distance, yeah. And it is still dim light down here, so.
Thaddeus is gonna go ahead and start walking.
Natalia will follow close behind.
Okay. You-
Always glancing
You
back
can
at
go ahead
Silas.
and move yourselves in bits. I'll tell you if you need to hold up. And they kind of follow along behind you.
And Natalia will look back at Silas. So what exactly is this destiny you're talking about?
He says, I think in your heart you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Have you not
Explain.
Have you not heard him calling you? Speaking to you?
I have not heard words.
His smile widens he's staring you down, like looking you right in the eyes. You feel like it feels very violating, like he sees into you in a way you don't like.
And so he's gonna shudder slightly, but still kind of maintain that intense look down at him. Still glowering. If you're talking about the dreams, maybe.
Yes, it always begins with dreams. But soon you will hear his voice directly, if you are blessed.
I'm assuming you're blessed. In your
He
opinion.
puts both hands up in almost like a priestly gesture. And he says, I am more blessed than you could ever understand.
Just like Roger Carlyle.
He... make a psychology check for me. You don't see any flicker of recognition when you say that name. And he says, was he a friend of yours also called?
No. Though I'm assuming I don't consider being spoken to by some entity blessed. I'm assuming Jackson has the same thing.
He says, so you prefer silence? Nothingness?
I prefer not to be spoken to by some mysterious thing.
Even if it is the truth. The only truth.
She'll kind of nudge Thaddeus to keep moving forward as she talks to Silas. I don't know what you consider truth, but murdering innocent people in the middle of a city is not a truth that I personally want to embrace.
He says, the truth is that which you cannot escape. And Thaddeus, you see kind of to your right at the end here is a door. It is actually, your sense is it is a pretty heavy wooden door. with metal strips kind of frequently kind of splayed along, vertically along it to give it extra strength. And there is a padlock on the door. The door opens towards you and to your left, but you can see that the latch on the door is actually out, and the padlock is open and just kind of sitting, in the ring on the wall. So clearly the door is not secured at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think tactically, but not too tactically, because I just want to think tactically.
Do you want me to open the door, Thaddeus?
Yeah, if you can, that way, if something behind
I
there
will-
comes out, we can shoot him.
Yes, I will get in the way. Watch him. And she'll kind of grab Thaddeus's shoulders, shoving him a bit.
You
back
actually,
towards you.
yes, and you do hear this coming through the door.
Natalia's gonna shiver slightly as she reaches for it. She looks to Thaddeus, the lantern in her left hand. I think we might need to extinguish these.
It might be best. And when you open it, step to the left a little bit. That way, if I have to shoot, I don't shoot you.
Okay. And she'll open the lantern, extinguishing the fire.
Oh, in the hallway, you mean?
The one that she has.
Oh, the one
in her
that you
hands.
have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
Yep. We should be
She-
able to turn that
I think I
off.
extinguished it.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
She'll look to Thaddeus, give a nod before slowly opening the door, taking a peek around the corner.
And there is just a little bit of light coming through. I'm gonna move the door to give you a kind of a peek in. What? So yeah, you've kind of cracked the door. The noise is now louder. You can hear somebody's chanting, and you hear other people kind of making echoing sounds of this ritual. It sounds. Make a knowledge check for me.
Okay. Where's knowledge?
It's with the it's near the right after your combat stuff. You have appearance, con. It's just one of your. Oh wait, it's not on there. Oh, sorry, education. Education. Yeah. Oh.
Hello.
You recognize this as definitely an African dialect. In fact, you're fairly certain that it's Swahili.
Oh my god.
And
Are we
and
spotted?
you don't imagine. I'm gonna quickly kind of give you a quick rundown of what you see because it's not immediately obvious. This right here This is a man. It looks a little weird, but he's wearing this strange mask. A strange mask on his head, but he's a black man, just in kind of in little more than a loincloth. And he has like a wooden scepter in one hand, and his hands are gloved, and they have like claws on the gloves. And then you see these other people kind of gathered around near him, and they all have the kind of red sashes around their heads. And then sort of in the torchlight over here, you see some people, a misshapen kind of person here. And next to him is actually two people who are in like street clothes, a man and a woman. The woman is closer to you, and both of them, there are heavy wooden planks sticking out of the wall about 8 feet off the floor. The ceiling here is about 12 feet high. And there's like leather thongs that are hanging down from these wooden poles, and the two people, their wrists are bound, and they're kind of held in place there under these poles. The man, you can barely see his face, but you can very quickly see that he looks terrified. And the woman, she's got some weird mask on her face. And you can make a listen check for me.
Okay. That's pretty good.
You distinguish out of all the noise that's going on in here, you can hear muffled screams coming from what is clearly that woman, but they're muffled behind the mask.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I see, right?
Yes.
Okay. Natalia's gonna take that moment to shut the door
Okay.
very quietly. She'll look to Thaddeus with this horrified look.
And I do need you to make a sanity check for me.
Yep. Oh, I expected this. Oh, thank God.
Okay. You are actually, it is unnerving, but you're keeping it together.
She takes a deep breath and leans against the door, shaking her head. I don't think we want to go in there.
How many more are there? I counted like 5 on the side.
There's at least 3 with headbands, 1 with these claws attached to him, 1 that looks misshapen, 2 who look to be in pain and almost strung up, kind of. 1 with a mask, muffled screaming.
Thaddeus is gonna look kind of quizzically. Well, let's send the other 2 in us in first.
Thaddeus, it's not a good idea. I don't think we should go down there. If they turn on us, unless we can hold these 2 hostage,
Silas says to you, "Calm yourself, girl. Go to Makunga. He will accept you and take you home."
Home. What is home?
Home is where you belong. He looks at you as if you're an idiot. No, genuinely, he has a perplexed look and says, "Home is where you belong."
If we send them two in first, they're in front of us, not behind us. And Days is gonna kind of lean in to her ear, and it sounds like they're respecting you. So
Did you see the person that we came here for?
I don't think I've ever met the private eye. I, Natalia will take a deep breath, exhale.
but regardless, there's still two people in there that need help.
Fuck. Fine.
You got that kerosene? Light up the lantern.
Well, we're gonna put these two in front of us before we open the door and send them
Yes.
in. I'll hold the old man.
And Thaddeus is gonna lean in again, so Silas and be like, I can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
Light the lantern. If they allow you to get close, you can use it.
Okay. I don't know if Natalia. There's at least another. Trying to think of how to light it. Do you have a lighter?
Oh, I'm sure Thaddeus must, or Frank does. If you don't, I'm sure Frank has a lighter. I imagine Frank would smoke. I don't know about Thaddeus.
Yeah, he'll look at Frank and kind of go closer. Do you have a lighter, Frank?
Yes, sir, Mr. Pepin.
Can I see that lighter?
He's gonna kind of shotgun down a little bit and grab the lighter from out of his pocket.
Silas puts his hand out to you like he'll take it.
Yes, that's fine. It's getting kind of dark. I'm guessing.
Alright. He'll pass it to Silas. I don't know that this is a good idea.
Silas just kind of nods, and he turns and hands it on to Thaddeus.
Thaddeus would kind of just look away at that point and hand
And
the lighter.
of course he smiles at you when he hands it to you.
Of course he does. Thaddeus will attempt to light the lantern again.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, and Natalia, when he's lighting the lantern, that's when you see that his hands are really shaking. But
Natalia will
he does.
put her hand.
Yeah, but he does. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Natalia, as he lights it, after she puts a hand on his, grasping it. She leans in. Are you going to be okay, Thaddeus?
Oh. I hope so. I didn't like killing those other guys. I have to do it again, but
Thaddeus, this is for Jackson.
yes. This is for Jackson.
She'll pat him a bit on the cheek before withdrawing. She motions to Silas and his companion to squeeze past Thaddeus.
Okay.
You two are going in first. Silas, you're by my side. Your companion can go.
You see the tall black man kind of look at Silas for a moment, as if, asking permission silently, and Silas just kind of nods, and he passes Silas and kind of comes towards you. And what do you want to do with him?
You open the door. She'll kind of make the door opening gesture.
Okay.
when I have Silas here. Thaddeus, back up a bit.
Make an intelligence check, or actually make an English check for me. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, you're explaining to him to do this, and as you're explaining, he opens the door.
oh shit.
That's fine.
And how do you respond to that?
She'll kind of.
Yeah, I told you there was like 5 over there.
I didn't see those.
So immediate reactions here. The man has just pushed the door open. You're not sure what he's going to do.
Thaddeus is grabbing Silas.
Okay. Silas does not resist. So you grab him, and describe how you've grabbed him.
Seeing the door open, and it kind of surprises Thaddeus. So what he kind of does is grabs Silas and puts him in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're a little rough in your quick motions, but he's easy to move, so you get him in front of you.
And then he's just gonna give him a push to walk it.
And what are you doing with your shotgun?
I have it in my one hand. The other hand was controlling it.
Is your hand on the trigger? Are you just holding it
It's
safely?
going to be held by the finger is off the trigger, and
Okay.
he's going to be holding around the action.
Okay. All right. And not pointed at him specifically.
No.
Okay. All right. So
No.
you got a hold of him, and as I said, he's not really resisting you. So you've got a pretty firm grip on him. Frank, yeah, you see all of this develop, and you can certainly do what you want to do, and Shelley as well.
Yeah, Frank is gonna pull out the automatic, semi-automatic, whatever it was, and move closer towards Thaddeus as
So
shit is kind of going down.
So what about the shotgun?
Natalia doesn't have a gun, right?
Nope.
Natalia set her shotgun down on the counter up top,
Upstairs.
upstairs.
He's probably gonna hold it to his side with his offhand,
Okay.
and try to pass it to her once he's close.
Okay. And Shelley?
She.
Well, Shelley can't really do much at the moment,
Yeah.
so she's
Yeah.
just gonna.
Yeah.
She doesn't even really know what's
yeah,
in the other room.
she sees what's
It's
going
like
on, and she can hear a voice. But, yeah, she doesn't really know much of what's happening down there, except that for a moment things seem like maybe they're a little out of control for a second there. Okay,
Yeah.
so continue, you Frank and Natalia.
Natalia will actually hold up her hands and kind of in a gesture of no to the gun. She'll roughly grab the bigger gentleman and
Yeah, you're
Since the door's already
you're
open.
actually as tall as he is. He's a big guy, but he's a little beefier than you, but you're as tall as he is. And yeah, you grab him.
yeah, and she's gonna shove him inside since the door's already open.
Okay. He definitely does not resist that, and he just kind of stumbles in, and that would certainly.
I'm gonna turn on my lights.
And there is a sudden sort of silence that drops on the room. The only sound now is sort of these whimpers coming from over in the corner over here.
What in the fuck is this?
Doc?
You walk in and you hear the whimpering and muffled screams coming out from under a mask off in the corner. And immediately, as soon as you walk through the door, a bunch of faces turn and look at you. They see someone that they recognize standing in front of you and immediately are drawn to the tall, blonde-haired woman standing behind him, kind of pushing him forward. And they all startle and stop. Their chanting just kind of comes to an immediate end. The only sound now is the muffled screams coming from the corner.
Yeah,
Natalia,
a
you
couple of
see-
them, though, you see that they've kind of been dancing around in kind of a hectic, crazed motion. And a couple of them actually take a few seconds to realize that everything has kind of stopped. They seem kind of in almost a hysteria state.
And it's only when they finally realize the chanting and the songs have stopped that they stop their dancing and come back into reality and start looking around. And as soon as the rest of them realize or get an idea of what's happening, you notice, Natalia, several of them reaching for a large blade at their sides with a hook on the end. They go to grab the blades, and then before they're able to pull the blades out, a man standing at the front of the crowd wearing a mask with feathers, shells, stitched together with a rough hemp. You just see him raise his hand up, and as he raises his hand up, says nothing, but just raises his hand. Simple gesture.
And they all stop.
They all stop pulling their weapons out. The man turns and looks at you, mask still on, his horrible visage of some kind of beast.
Yeah, there's a long, grotesque tongue sticking out from the mouth of this thing that kind of dangles down to the man's waist.
And he looks at you, Natalia. Welcome, girl. Welcome to this place. I do not know who you are, but now that you are here, you are welcome. Please come in.
And she'll take a deep breath before nervously stepping inside.
He gives a small gesture, and as he does, the other men around you all move away from you, stepping away, keeping an eye on you, but definitely giving you a wide berth. Come in, girl.
And
what is it that we could do for you here?
And as I'm
beautiful
sorry, I
night.
didn't mean to interrupt. As you
Yes, go
step
ahead.
in, you can see too that these two men up here are kind of standing on either side of what looks to be like a crane, almost a simple crane that stretches out over this circular stone formation there that almost looks like there's a rope down from that crane arm that attaches to a bolt on this stone, what must be a cover, like it's a well, a large well or something with a heavy stone cover over it, so that you could lever the cover up. But currently it's firmly in place.
Seeing that she moved forward, Thaddeus would move Silas forward as well.
Okay.
And push Silas into
Yeah.
the room and walk in.
Silas, quote, steps in as you come in with him.
And as Silas steps in, you see the man in the mask obviously turn his head in Silas' direction and gives an obvious kind of nod to Silas. Doesn't say anything, but nods to him.
Who exactly? I have an idea, but who are you people?
And the man in the mask turns back to you, and he stands there, arms down at his side, with these what look like tiger claws attached to his hands. We are simply children of the old ones, just as you are. Although we have come to accept it, we have come to cherish it, as we have learned to serve the old one. You, well, you will make the time at some point in your future to do the same.
What?
You hear the man over here kind of almost in a crazed voice say, please help us. And this large man next to him just kind of shoves his hand sort of almost in the man's mouth, over and kind of in the man's mouth to just kind of shut him up.
Talia will gasp a little at that and look back to the man in the center, uncommanding the room. These old ones you serve, is it the same as the ones you serve with? Shapaz, thinking. Silas mentioned the one that you worship has many names. Yes.
He looks at you, and as he looks at you, he takes both hands and he puts them up on the side of his mask, and then you can see him slowly lifting the mask up off of his head. He's holding it up as he lifts it up off of his face and then holds it down at his side. With the mask under his left arm, he uses his right hand to point at you. What is it you know of the many-named God?
I know of what it seems to be the voice that he spoke to someone with. Images may be conjured in this person's head.
Silas says, she has heard his voice, master. There is no question. I saw it in her eyes.
The man standing there with the hard look, the hard face, mask under his left arm. So, you have heard his voice then. You know. You are closer to being one of his children than you think. You are very close.
And say, for example, if I do not want to become one of his children, do I end up dead on the floor with a simple part on my head?
Silas just kind of laughs a little.
And the man in front of you, he turns his head to the left and lets out a little bit of a laugh, and as he does, everyone else in the room just lets out a laugh at the same time,
And
as if they're all in on a joke that you don't quite understand.
and Silas says, the one who leaps knows true joy and fulfillment, but he who is pushed knows only pain and confusion.
And the man looks at you. Silas speaks the truth. The old man has wisdom. You may not want to become one of his children, but the choice is not yours. You are and you will be forever one of his children. This is not something you decide. This is simply something you are.
And if I decide to take that leap and embrace him, will I be able to find out more?
If you embrace him, you are rewarded with the answers, all of the answers of the universe. He rewards all of his children. He lets them know why they are special. He lets them know why they are the chosen ones. He lets them know why they are the most powerful of all his children. You must give yourself to him, and he will let you know. He will whisper into your ear, like a lover, like a father, like a mother. He will let you know what makes you special in this universe.
I am guessing Jackson refused. And that is why he is dead.
Go ahead and make a psychology test. When you say that, you can see just the slightest of smiles in the corner of his mouth as he obviously recognizes the name when you say Jackson. You know that he knows who that is.
Natalia, again, eyebrows furrowed, hackles raised, glaring at this man. It was you, or at least you know of what happened. You're the reason he's dead. He did not accept. She'll kind of make this gesture, arms out. This.
Girl, he is not dead because he did not accept this. He is dead because he did not choose the old one, the master. He did not choose the correct way in this life, and instead he gave his life for something better. Do not feel bad for that man. That man sacrificed himself so that we could continue in our journey through this universe. You are lucky to be here and to witness this. No one is able to do this from the outside world, and yet here you are. This means you have been chosen. You are special. You and all of your friends. And as he says all of your friends, he looks past Silas and kind of sees Thaddeus back there in the hall, wondering about who else is back there in the hall.
Silas says, "There are 4 of them, Master."
Thank you, Silas. And then he looks at Natalia. Would you like to bring your friends in here so they can witness this miracle?
Natalia will pause. She looks to be considering something for a moment. She looks back to the doorway, the entrance, looking at Thaddeus, or at least the shape of him in the doorway. Leaf. Now.
When you say that, the priest
Silas laughs when you say that too. She has accepted her fate. She is wise.
and the priest looks at Silas, and with the smallest smile, almost indiscernible, Silas, wakati wako umefika.
Natalia, you see Silas for the first time probably that you've ever seen him. His smile fades. And he says back, Ninakwenda kwa Mungu wetu kwa furaha. And he turns to Thaddeus. Thaddeus, make an intelligence check for me.
Hard one.
Yeah. Before you quite realize what's happening, and Frank, you're just not close enough to do anything, although when it's just a little bit too late, you reach out to Thaddeus to kind of grab him. Silas grabs the shotgun with one hand in a surprisingly fast move. He is much quicker than he has appeared to be, and has grabbed your other hand, and in a moment the barrel of the shotgun is brought up to his own head, and his head explodes in fragments of blood everywhere. And you're left holding a smoking shotgun, and his body, the hands still kind of holding on to you as Frank, what would Frank do? He noticed was Silas making a sudden lunge almost at Thaddeus.
At this point, Frank is gonna probably try to grab Mr. Pepin and pull him back behind him.
Okay, so yeah, as Thaddeus's head disintegrates, Frank grabs you, Thaddeus. You feel strong hands kind of grabbing you from the side. Make a sanity check for me, please, Thaddeus.
Let the spiral continue. Oh, no,
Okay.
I'm gonna start rolling.
You lose one sanity. And for a moment that you will remember for a while, you feel kind of Silas's hands still gripping your arm tightly, and then his body sort of, after what seems like an impossibly long moment of his body just kind of standing there without a head, it kind of collapses. And Frank is pulling you away. So you have the presence of mind to sort of understand what's going on and decide how you want to react to this.
Thaddeus, after being pulled a little bit, is gonna stop him and turn and look at Frank and Shelley. There should be a detective on the way. We called him beforehand. He might need to be flagged down.
Is
Frank Shelley and
Natalia okay?
Frank Shelley and Natalia also need to be Frank, Natalia, Shelley, you also need to make sanity checks, but with a bonus die. You didn't pull the trigger, but you saw this happen.
Okay, I wasn't sure how much Shelley could actually see.
She saw enough when he kind of lunged back into the hallway there.
So she knows that wasn't Natalia getting shot.
Yeah, oh yeah, she saw that it was Silas, for sure. Yeah, you all are holding steady. I mean, as steady as you can be under these strange circumstances. So, yeah, Silas has gone down. What are your reactions now?
So Thaddeus, as he's talking about the cop, he's gonna look at Frank and look over at Shelley. I will not leave her.
We need to get her out of there.
Yes, we do.
Natalia, come on! She shouts into the room.
Mr. Pepin, it's dangerous. You need to get out.
As they're yelling at you, the man standing over there that took the mask off, he sets the mask down on this stone, like dais where this other stone platform is, and he just kind of slightly turns to the left and says something in another language as he raises his left hand and kind of motions forward.
This large... Okay, so Natalia... So that's what he's doing. Natalia, what are you doing? It sounds like the people out in the hall are about to retreat up the stairs. Is that correct?
That's what Frank's trying to get Mr. Pepin to do.
Yeah. And Thaddeus sounds like he's kind of not budging and saying what he said. What about Shelley?
Shelley's standing there, kind of nervously looking at the stairs and looking at the door. But she's got the shotgun, and Thaddeus does. I'll cover her if you want to make a break for the stairs.
All right, and what's Natalia doing?
Natalia is going to step over Silas. She's going to take a foot and kind of make sure that he's fully into the room. And she's going to grab onto the door handle and turn.
And
down the
as you
hallway.
do, you see this curtain down here at the bottom move aside. And make a spot hidden check, Natalia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna whisper something to you.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna message.
And as all this is going on, the man standing there is looking at Natalia as she sidesteps. Little daughter, the old man, he knew this life was more than his flesh. And that is why he was so willing to give it up, because there are greater rewards beyond this life. That is why he smiled, and that is why he laughed. He was aware of these rewards. He wanted these rewards, and he went to these rewards. His courage will forever be honored. Do not leave now, or you will miss the miracle and the glory of our master.
Natalia shakes her head, again peering back out in the hallway. She looks at Thaddeus. Pale Svetlana. I love her. Now go. And with that, she'll shut the door with her inside.
Thaddeus and Frank, you see her shutting. She has to reach out to grab the door because it opens outwardly. So she reaches out to grab the door.
Frank is gonna pin it against the wall.
Yeah. Thaddeus, while he was talking, was reloading the shotgun.
Okay.
You know I can't leave you.
Natalia glares. Do we take a 5? Since they're inside?
Do we stop?
I'm gonna pause.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
wanna
I mean, it's up to you guys. We can either keep going, or we can take a 5.
let's take a 5. I just want to wait till Darren gets back. Let's take a 5.
Okay.
Let's take a 5.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take a 5.
Matt, what are you doing?
Oh! I'm pulling a cipher.
No!
Nuh-uh.
Not gonna let it
Grab her!
happen.
There's only room for one Zypher in this server, and it's filled already.
By Cypher.
I have to know what happened.
I've been trying to think of ways to do this and save those people down there.
Nah.
I'm having none, so...
Yep.
Is Natalia still carrying the kerosene lamp, right?
Yep.
Okay. Just keeping that in mind for the moment. So whenever everybody's back and trying to pull a cipher.
Everyone be impressed by the Photoshop work Darren did to get these headbands on all these characters.
I can only see 2 of them.
Oh.
I'm sorry for Frank and Shelley. You guys have been stuck out on that steps.
No, you're good. You're good.
Because Natalia won't let you guys in.
Yeah.
I figured.
Actually-
I figured Frank is gonna take more of a backseat.
Frank
position while
actually
this
had to stop the door. He had to move over that way.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, he's actually had to kind of quickly move past Thaddeus and sort of, do the foot in the door thing and then shoulder it back open a little bit.
Okay. Well, this is now that I can see this room. This is looking real good.
It's called the winning side. See, that's the side you're on.
Yep. The escaping side.
But we have guns. They just have machetes and suicidal tendencies.
Darren, now before... Well, thinking of all the ways I have to go about this, shotgun, is it splatter areas or cone?
Yes.
Or is it...
Well,
Okay.
your shotguns are. This is not a sawed-off shotgun. These are skeet shooter shotguns. These have a pretty tight pattern. It's a little wider than a slug, but it's not meant to be a scatter shot. But yes, if you were to aim at a couple people at medium range, which this may not be, you could probably tag a couple of them for a little less. You'd be kind of dividing your shot between them instead of unloading it all into one. It's quite devastating in one,
Yeah.
as we've seen twice.
Alright, I'm just trying to think of
Yeah, so time is passing. You can think, but the time you take to think, time is also passing along.
Yeah.
So what?
I know we waited for you to get back.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm back.
Yeah, no, I know.
So are we ready?
And
Yeah, I
as
think we're ready.
time is passing and the door gets knocked open by Frank's foot, and he kind of shoulders it open just a little bit as Natalia was trying to close it on everyone. The priest again motions for someone to be brought forth from the back.
These two men, well, actually one looks like to be a man, one looks like to be a woman, but a bald woman, kind of drag an unconscious or dead form, you're not sure, of a guy in kind of a suit like that. His hat is missing, but he's in the suit, and just kind of drag him forward, obviously at the man's behest.
And Natalia again will look back to Thaddeus and Frank. You need to leave.
And you need to come with us. I am not leaving. Or those others.
And as he talks, he raises his voice again. This man here was found snooping around our building. Do you know anything about who he is? Why he was here? Maybe it was just the universe that brought him here so that he could also enjoy the pleasures and the joy of our master.
Thaddeus seeing the man and hearing that, and he feeling even more persistent on staying now, because that's another life added to the basement here. And he's gonna go speak up. Yes, I do know him. And then that daddy's gonna start trying to walk forward into the room.
Nope. Natalia will fully block him. She'll look to Frank. Get him out. Now.
You need to come with us. Frank is gonna kind of grab his shoulder too and try to keep him back.
The priest looks over at you. This is your man. You sent him here.
Thaddeus is gonna look at Frank, shake his head no.
Are you attempting to force him, Frank?
It's more of a. I'm not forcing him. It's more of like grabbing him and being like, no.
It's you're trying to guide him. It sounds like.
Yeah.
With strong suggestion. Okay.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he's still the boss.
Yep.
And Thaddeus looking tight.
Thaddeus,
Go.
we can't save them. Either we all die here, or some of us do. Go. Get on the boat.
At this point, seeing Natalia's being very stern, Thaddeus is gonna look at Frank and Well, Frank, I didn't want to come to this. Go you grab our dear friend here.
Frank is gonna grab her and pull her into the hallway.
We'll see about that.
Natalia's resisting.
Okay. So, Natalia, you need to make a size check. And Frank, you need to make a strength check. And we will oppose those. Oh.
Good.
Natalia, for a moment, you resist. Like, he grabs you. You can see him reaching out to grab you, and you kind of instinctively flinch back, and he grabs. And as you are trying to avoid him, you tumble backwards and smack your head on the... You go down and smack your head on the stone floor.
And immediately upon seeing that, the priest just says one word, puts his hand up,
Yes.
and then just kind of turns, and these men on the side go to grab Natalia.
And yes, the lantern does shatter on the stone, and the oil spreads, and there is some fire pretty quickly. Natalia, make a luck check for me.
Oh.
Ooh, all right. To your, I don't know, to your unaware pleasure, because you're not really, you are stunned pretty badly. The lantern smashed between you and all these men, and so as the priest man is ordering all of them obviously to move forward, the fire flares up, and they all kind of instinctively cringe back in that moment. Natalia, make a constitution check, a hard constitution check for me.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, not quite. You got a success, so you're not knocked out, but you are badly dazed, and you'll have a very nasty knot on your head if you survive this. But for the moment, you are pretty much, in a daze and have very little, you're not focused. You don't really know what you're doing right now.
So is Natalia in between Shelley and Thaddeus?
No, she's in front of Thaddeus.
Yeah,
But she's
you
still
can't even see her. In fact, all you saw, Shelley, was Frank sort of make a move and reach into the room, and that's really all. And Frank, how do you react to this whole thing just happening?
Frank's gonna move in and try to grab her and pull her into the hallway.
Okay, so that's what Frank's doing. On the other side, though, this guy has pulled a machete and is moving very quickly on you, Frank. So you're going to have to decide how you want to respond to that.
I'm gonna shoot at him if I can.
Yes. Let's.
Sounds like a
Yeah, it sounds like we're about to do initiatives. So let's do that, at least between Frank and this guy, and then we'll see where it goes from there. You can do firearm. There's initiative normal and initiative firearm. That will be faster. Yeah, way faster. Frank is quick. So yes, he closes towards you, pulls a machete and heads straight. You think he's coming at you, but it's possible he's going for Natalia. And then you can take a shot. It is point blank range, basically. I'm going to give you a bonus die on your shotgun blast.
Okay.
That, unfortunately, you, in your haste to bring up the shotgun and put a round in him, your shot goes a little wide. You pull the trigger just a moment too soon, and his machete comes down. Oh, that is a hit. His machete comes down on your, and that was a hard success. So what I'm going to say is his machete comes down on your arm that's holding the shotgun, on the trigger. And so you're going to take 6 physical damage. That's the red bubble. And your shotgun, your shooting hand is in really bad shape. It's almost cut off. Yeah.
Fuck! He's gonna call back to Thaddeus. Get out of here!
And for the moment, the fire is keeping these others back, but you can see this guy kind of gingerly moving around the arm of the lever. It's not that easy to get past it, but he's kind of maneuvering his way by. No, Thaddeus still has his shotgun. Silas didn't grab the shotgun out of his hand. Silas just grabbed Thaddeus's hand on the trigger. Kind of grabbed one end of the barrel and put another finger in the trigger and kind of basically blew his own head off.
Okay, thanks.
Thaddeus is still holding the shotgun.
I think you asked that like twice. Right?
And Thaddeus did reload at one point, I remember, after that happened. With shaky hands. It probably took him twice as long as he would have liked it to, but but he managed it.
So, Natalia being in the flames, hearing Frank say run, and ensuing fight, Thaddeus is gonna walk in, and I don't know what side the flame is on. The flame's not here, right? It's over somewhere in here.
The flame is actually here.
It's there? Yeah. Okay. And this guy right here is trying to walk around.
They were all trying to move forward, but the oil spread pretty well and fast. That fire isn't going to last long, but it's long enough that right now it's kind of keeping them back.
All right. Thaddeus is going to step in right now. I'm trying to figure out how I'll do this. And then he's gonna I don't know how far. Darren, how far can I actually move? For one,
you can easily move that far.
Nah, I want to move up a little more though.
Well, be aware that any further and you'll be in the fire. I wish, hold on, maybe I can get a little fire thing here.
That's what I'm working on.
Oh,
right
you
now.
are? Okay.
Yeah.
Make it so.
So okay, so the fire would start like somewhere here
Yeah.
or closer.
Well, it's gradually spreading because the oil is spreading, but the oil's also being consumed. So it's not a ton of oil, right? I mean, it's a lamp, a lantern. So you know that you have maybe 5 to 10 more seconds before it's still probably burning, but it won't be that much of a hazard. It will be a hazard, but not an impediment. It's not going to stop anybody.
Okay. Yeah, not wanting to light myself on fire. Frank is kind of blocking his shot to the here.
You
So
could
Thaddeus is
risk
next.
it, but you do run the risk of hitting Frank if you miss. And it will cost you a penalty die as well. Ah! You're all consumed.
Yeah, penalty die. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, full screen. Alright, he's gonna shoot any other people around the flame. He's gonna move up a little closer though, towards the flame, knowing that there's another person with a gun
You're
behind
about
him.
as close as you can get in the flame
Okay.
without being singed at least.
In the flame.
I mean, if you don't mind getting singed, that's up to you. Here, we might be able to squeeze it and turn it to be a little more.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, a little more representative there, like something like that. So your quick assessment would be that this guy right here is going to easily be the first to not have to worry about that fire. In fact, he almost might have cowered back just because everybody else did. So he just sort of went with everyone else, and he actually probably could slip by it if he was determined.
Alright. Thaddeus will go ahead and take a shot at him.
All right,
then,
this
as
is
he
very
comes.
close range. You get a bonus die as well. Oh, fail.
Wow.
Yeah, I think your hands are just jittering. That was close enough though that he does kind of cower back for a moment. He doesn't really look afraid, but you just unloaded a shotgun in his direction, and so instinctively he does sort of back up and back into the guy behind him, and they're sort of in a confused jumble for a moment.
Okay. Yeah.
What's Shelly doing? She sees Thaddeus step up and unload his shotgun.
Her knowledge of what's going on is kind of limited,
Yeah.
but she can hear grunts and, guns going off, and she knows Thaddeus just shot, but he's obscuring her view. Could she crouch down and stick the... Well, she might trip him. Probably don't want to stick the barrel between your legs.
She actually could do that.
Well, I was thinking
Do it.
less than aiming. Just
Yes.
she sees 3 guys
Right,
there.
right.
Someone is probably going to get hit by a little bit of scatter
Yes.
if she just shoots in that general
Yeah,
direction.
we will call that a suppressing shot,
Right.
and it may hit somebody, but it's
Okay,
a
so-
generally in that direction kind of fire. So you can go ahead and make your attack.
Whoops, I'm sorry. I hit it twice.
Yeah, so your
it would
first
probably
one.
be that.
Yeah, so you don't hit Thaddeus, at least. The shot does go into that crowd. You're not exactly sure what effect it had, but it certainly has made noise, and you know you threw some shot down that way.
Sorry, Thaddeus.
Okay.
I probably startled him.
Good thing you didn't fumble.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Even a fail when someone's right in front of you can be bad. It requires a luck check from them. So, yeah, shooting right through somebody like that is very dangerous. Okay, so what is Frank going to do?
He's gonna kind of drop his shotgun a bit. He can't really support it with both hands anymore. Can he use his automatic one-handed, or no?
He can, certainly. It's the wrong hand, but that's okay. So at any range other than up close like this, you'll have a penalty die. But this close, it's fine.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you're pulling that out. Do your initiative for me as not firearm, and let me just make sure that you're still faster than this guy, because you have to draw your weapon. That's going to take you a moment before he could. Yeah. So you're able to react. I mean, Frank is hardened. He used to be he was in the war. He can. So he's been hurt before. He can quickly grab into his coat and whip out the .45 and take a quick shot at this guy. However, so this is how it's going to be though. You're in close here, so this is going to be kind of an opposed thing. You're basically fighting back. So you can either let this guy try to attack you and you can dodge, and as long as he doesn't do better than you on his successes, you won't get hit, and then you can take a normal shot at him. Otherwise, you're trying to shoot him before he can swing, and this is going to be an opposed check. So it'd be your gun shot against his machete shot, and you would have to beat him to hit him before he can hit you.
I'm gonna go the dodge route. He's smart. He knows to keep calm in these kinds of situations.
Okay. So go ahead and try your dodge. Oh shit.
This looks like it's gonna
Uh-oh.
be good.
Oh
Yep.
my.
Oh.
Frank takes 8.
Oh no.
So this guy viciously slashes across your chest, but you can still get your shot off. But Frank is horribly wounded. That's a nice shot on him. This is kind of a big guy, but that shot staggers him back a couple yards, and he stumbles. But Frank is also kind of stunned. I need a Constitution check from you, Frank.
Okay.
Okay, so you're in incredible pain, but your adrenaline has kicked in, and so you are at least able to act in the next round and do something. Though
Can
your
I
head is
move at all,
swimming.
or was my dodge?
Your
kind
dodge was sort
Okay.
of your. What kind of move were you talking about? I mean, if it's just a very short little reposition, that's fair.
He was gonna stumble back into the hallway.
That's sort of a
Kind of against the
natural extension of getting slashed across the chest. So yeah, you can definitely do that.
Okay.
He stumbles back. Natalia, make a Constitution check for me. Okay. You are coming around now, so you are. I'll let you kind of play this out, but you're now sort of dimly aware of what is happening around you, and can take, some action.
Okay. Natalia kind of looks up, blinking, seeing stars, some of her vision slightly blacking out in certain places, and looks around, looks to Frank stumbling back into the hallway, bleeding. Looks to Thaddeus, who's come inside the room, shotgun, armed. He stumbles to her feet a bit, trying to get her ground while shouting at Thaddeus. Get out! Get out! Run! Run! I can't save them!
Thaddeus is
And it's Thaddeus again.
Thaddeus as he hears that and stops looking at the guy, looks at and Natalia. Is she up now?
She is staggered to her feet. Yeah, she's kind of in the process of getting up as she says that. She definitely looks a little woozy though.
As she's getting up, Thaddeus is gunning to go to her and grab her and start trying to usher her out the door.
Okay. Make a.
As you're
Sorry, go ahead.
doing that, Natalia, you're kind of coming to your feet, a little stunned. As you're standing up, you look at the corner of your eye and you see Thaddeus and the shotgun in his hand, and Frank falling back into the hallway. From the corner of your eyes, you see the priest that was standing there talking to you earlier. He had been walking this direction, and you see him walk, and he yanks the mask that this person over here was wearing off of their head and starts making his way back in this direction with the mask in his hand.
Yeah. Make a. Let's see. Yeah. Make a power check for me, Natalia. If you can. All right. Yeah. So you can focus enough that you can see that this. You see the woman's face for the first time. And she's her expression is just one of utter horror. Her eyes are bugged out. She's looking around in a crazed fashion, in utter confusion, and breathing, like hyperventilating.
Shit.
And this guy is also kind of. Thaddeus, as you start to pull on Natalia, this guy is kind of almost on Natalia. So you need to make a strength check to pull her back quickly enough.
Yeah, well.
Nice. All right, the strength kicks in. So your adrenaline's going crazy, I would bet. So yeah, with one hand, you still got the shotgun, right? You in one hand, you grab her her by the upper arm with your other hand and just pull with all your might back, and basically you can do whatever you want. You can fling her back into the hall. You can kind of move back with her if you want. It's up to you.
He's gonna fling her. He's tossing her out in the hallway.
Okay. Natalia, that was you're very deftly manhandled back into the hall.
And she stumbles into the hall, grabbing onto the wall as she's thrown back.
And you see the guy kind of stymied that you got her out of the way, and he did not have his machete out. He was just gonna try to grab her with his hands. So the mass of these people start to move forward a bit. You can see they're working up to kind of jump through the flames, which are rapidly dying down. And unfortunately, everything here is stone. This fire is not spreading or anything. It's just kind of consuming itself. So what do you guys do out there in the corridor? Shelley?
Shelley sees Natalia stumble out into the hallway and looks at her. Oh, thank God. Let's go.
Run!
And she tosses a quick glance to Thaddeus, but knows that he wants to come, and so just nods and starts dashing down the hallway.
And up the steps. Okay.
Yep. She'll look behind her as she goes and make sure that Frank and Natalia are following.
Yeah. Okay. Frank, as I said, you made your Constitution check, so you're really badly hurt, but you can stumble along.
Okay. Quick glance. If I were to slam the door, like after Mr. Pepin came in, is there anything I could do to prop the door
There's
shut?
the padlock.
Oh, so there's the padlock on the
Yes.
outside? Oh, fuck. Then Frank is gonna kind of move to position himself to close the door. Mr. Pepin, hurry!
Alright. Natalia, what do you do? I assume, Thaddeus, you're now starting to make a retreat as soon as you've gotten Natalia through the door?
Yeah, Thaddeus would fully be in the doorway, or heading towards that door.
Okay.
And at this point, I think Natalia would... She does want to keep Thaddeus in front of her, but grabs onto him, at least, of his wrist. And just to make sure that he's coming out and not staying and attempting to rescue these people.
Okay.
So just starts motoring forward.
Okay. So you guys push through. These guys are starting to leap over the fire, and the guy that was trying to grab Natalia is now moving to the doorway. Frank, you're gonna try to slam the door, and and are you trying to use your bad hand to do the? Yeah, I get. Yeah, we'll just imagine you're trying to slam the door and then trying to fumble with the padlock with one bad hand and one good one, in time. So make a strength check for me to slam this door shut quickly.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably grabbing the door and slamming it shut, pushing his body against it as he's messing with this padlock.
Okay. You're in such great pain. The door does not quite shut, and this guy has interposed himself in the doorway. You guys are moving up the steps. And this guy makes a swipe around the door with his machete again. This will be a hard attack.
He's been rolling pretty well.
No, his machete just slashes the air, and misses you. But he's kind of interposed himself in the door. So if you want to keep trying to force that door shut, you're going to be kind of struggling with him.
What kind of door is this?
It's a heavy wooden door with metal strips reinforcing it.
Can I shoot through the door?
You can, but it's gonna. You know that it's a pretty heavy door. It will definitely lower the velocity of the bullet quite a bit, but it should make it through. A shotgun probably. A shotgun might make it through, but well, you don't have your shotgun. You have your 45. So yeah, your 45 would probably make it through, but you're not 100% sure of that.
Awesome. He's gonna try to do it.
Okay. Take a shot. This will be a I'm gonna call it a hard shot because of the thickness of the door and the fact that you're shooting through the doors. So it'll just be a hard shot all around.
Okay. Pray for me, everybody.
Not quite. You may have grazed him. You're not sure. But in any case, it did not stop him. And there is now a surge against the door. There are now at least 2 other people pushing against the door, Frank. And at this point, all you can do right now is try to prevent the door from opening fully enough for them to get out. It's like 70% of the way shut, but you didn't get it all the way, right? So, and now there's a surge. So I need you to try a... you can use either your strength or your size. Let's see which one is better for you. Size is better. You can use your size against them. I'm going to give them a bonus die, though, because they're piling up against you. So go for it. Oh, shit. Oh, that's you. Very good. Okay. You are holding the door.
Oh my god.
Against these 3 guys that are like hurling themselves at it. And you see Natalia and Thaddeus going up the steps. And Frank, you know now kind of in your heart of hearts that there's no way out for you. You're not going to be able to beat them. There's too many of them pushing on this door. So all you can do is try to ho-de-do. You can hodor. That's what you can do.
Oh man.
Oh man, I don't know how Thaddeus will take this.
Natalia's making sure that Thaddeus stays beside, not running back.
Just go!
Yeah, and Thaddeus, his voice is so weak too. I mean, you've never heard him sound weak like this. But he is doing an amazing, heroic job of holding this door. But even you can see there's no way he's gonna hold it for long.
Oh.
Natalia will make sure to kind of put herself between Thaddeus, kind of waiting for Shelley, like ushering her up the ladder.
All right. Thaddeus, are you letting Natalia kind of push you along up the stairs?
I will make a strength check, motherfucker. I will knock you out and carry you if need be. Yeah. Get up the ladder!
They hurl themselves against the door again, and you see Frank kind of weakening. He holds it again, but you don't know if he can do it again. He's almost slumped against the door now. You can see he's and there's a pool of blood like forming at his feet.
Mr. Pepin, don't make this his
Thaddeus.
sacrifice for nothing.
Thaddeus is gonna go up. Looking back at Frank. And just as he's climbing.
Yeah. Shelley's flashlight shines one last beam on Frank. Does Frank can say or gesture or something before they disappear? In the door, you can feel the door. You're not going to hold the next time. You've lost blood, too much blood. You're getting like dizzy in the head now.
Yeah, so as the light shines down this hallway, giving a last glimpse of Frank as he's doing his best to keep this door shut and keep these people from flowing in and chasing after you. You can hear machetes being kind of chopped into the door, loud thuds as they try to make their way through. The door is pressing against Frank as he keeps trying to hold it back, but you can see him getting weaker and weaker, and his wounds oozing more and more. As the light fades and you go up, you just hear him and see him mouth one last time weakly, "Just go." And then the light fades on Frank.
And Shelley, you hurry up the ladder. And Natalia kind of forces Thaddeus to make it up.
Yep. She takes that one last look back at Frank.
The door is now burst open, and you see a couple of them just start chopping his body to bits. And then, so they seem momentarily occupied with that.
And Natalia will blink back a few tears, resisting the urge to run back before quickly scaling the ladder, heading back up into the store.
Okay.
I don't suppose there's any other kerosene lamps around here.
No.
Natalia's gonna slam the trapdoor shut and point towards the exit. Leave! You need to get in the car and go.
Do these cabinets look like they could be pushed over?
Yes. They definitely could be.
Natalia, give me a hand. And Shelley goes over to the other side and starts pushing on the cabinet opposite the trapdoor.
Okay.
She'll look over to Thaddeus. Get the car ready!
Thaddeus will start making his way towards the door, watching to see if they're able to do it.
Natalia, make a strength check with a bonus die because of Shelley's assistance. Okay. Yep. It doesn't take very long for you to slide these the slide the counter over the top of the door, trap door.
We need to go. No.
I'm coming. Shelley just takes a last moment to grab the shotgun that Natalia had set down on the counter and gives the dead body on the floor a glance as she hurries out after.
Thaddeus is going to be holding open the door.
Mm-hmm. As they kind of run out back into the alleyway, looking to go back into that abandoned building, she again makes sure to grab Thaddeus, just in case he doesn't turn around.
It's snowing outside lightly, and there's a wind. And so you're out in the alley, and where do you go?
I remember the car was we parked behind the building.
Yeah, out on the main street. So you went through the abandoned building over to West 138th Street and then to the left, and it's parked out on the main street, whatever. Let me see what that's called. In any case, that's where it is. On Lenox Avenue.
Is the vehicle operated with a key or just with a switch to turn on? I don't know anything about cars from that period.
Yeah.
Back then, a lot of them, I think, had I don't think a lot of them use keys.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, yes, anyone who knows how to drive could start it.
Shelley will jump in and turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah. Just making their way through the building, running to the back. Natalia will quickly run in, or slide into the back seat.
What is going on here?
Thaddeus.
In.
Yeah. You feel resistance from Thaddeus, but he's going.
Okay. And yeah, you get in the car, and where do you go?
Shelley pulls away rather fast, then turns on the street and drives for a few blocks before pulling over. She grips the wheel rather tightly. She didn't realize it, but she's got tears drying on her cheeks. Where are we going? Should we contact the police?
At this point, Natalia is kind of grabbing onto Thaddeus, hugging him. I don't think we can call the police. I think they're in on it. I don't know.
I didn't.
Home.
Oh.
All right. Shelley will think for a moment. She's not even really sure which direction she's facing at the moment.
Yes.
Tries to picture a map in her head, take a few calming breaths, and she'll slowly pull out and find a cross street that she recognizes and then head back to the Pepin residence.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very long drive back. Or so it seems.
Yeah. Natalia will look up to Thaddeus. Hard to see in the dark, but definitely tears running down her eyes. And Why didn't you run?
Shelley will turn back sharply and say, "Why were you staying?"
Thaddeus is silent.
I... I didn't want them to come after you. There's so many of them.
Shelley shakes her head. "You have a little girl depending on you. You can't do that."
I know. I know. I knew they... I just wanted you guys to escape. First, I know Thaddeus, he wanted to save them. I did not want to go in.
I see. You're a very brave woman. I'm so sorry, Mr. Pepin. Your Frank was a very brave man.
Frank just kind of looks still a little dumbfounded, sad, angry. All the emotions mixed, and he just kind of looks over at her when she says it. Nods. And then kind of just looks down.
Eventually you arrive home.
So as they pull up, Frank would just get out of the car and start walking and kind of walk his way into the study.
Wow, you're even calling yourself Frank.
I mean, yeah, that is. So he would just walk straight in the study, not even bother him pouring the glasses, take a decanter full of booze and sit down in his chair.
Natalia will silently follow. Pour herself a glass of vodka with shaky hands and shooting it back. She looks down at it. I was like, there are these worshippers everywhere.
I already played it.
Everywhere.
And there were other people in there with them. Captives?
She looks to Thaddeus solemnly. If we are to figure this out, to stop whatever it is they are doing, we cannot try and save everyone, Thaddeus. We can't. Or else we die.
Dash is gonna look at her and nod his head, yeah. I'm gonna take a big old swig.
He pours herself another glass, shaking her head.
Shelley holds out a tumbler for some of the vodka as well.
Natalia will pour her a generous glass, almost to the top.
Shelley sips at it, grimacing. How can the police possibly be involved in this madness?
I don't know, but everything that Jackson's written so far, everything I've written on Roger Carlyle, it's all true. I am not going to take any of it with a grain of salt. She looks over the clock.
Daddy says, take another big gulp and looks around. And he stands up. I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay.
You should. He's gonna get tired. Go be with your daughter. And
Yes.
Shelly, thank you. And he's just gonna walk out and actually head towards his bedroom.
Shelley looks at Natalia. I think he's actually going to his bedroom.
Natalia nods. First time for everything. Shelley,
Yes.
I want to be clear with you. I whatever this group needs to be stopped. I will do whatever it takes to stop it. I love Svetlana with all my heart, but whatever they're doing, I think it's bigger than us. We need to be ready, no matter what. We cannot do what we did back there. We cannot try to save everyone. Not everyone's gonna be saved.
Shelley looks down at her drink and then looks up at Natalia. You're right. But if we don't have each other's backs, then we don't have a chance at all. Keep in mind that next time you try to be so self-sacrificing that it's obvious that Mr. Pepin is never going to leave you behind. And quite frankly, I'm not going to run away either. So while I know we can't save everyone, we have to try to save each other.
Natalia's going to take a drink. Long, deep one. She'll give Shelley a hard look. There might come another time where another one of us is in danger. But if we all attempt to save each other, we're all going to die. Keep that in mind. I will attempt to save you and Thaddeus, if possible. But if need be, to try and stop whatever this is, because I feel it needs to be stopped. I will do whatever needs to be done. including, and I don't want this to happen, leaving one of you behind.
Shelley nods. She reaches out and puts a hand over Natalia's hand and gives it a little squeeze. I trust that you will act as your conscience tells you you must, as the situation dictates, and so will I. Go give your daughter a good kiss goodnight. I have a feeling that it's not going to be safe to stay around here much longer.
It is a good thing that we are leaving soon. Though I feel this evening I will be visited again by the one with many names.
Shelley shakes her head. Don't let that mountebank get into your head that way.
You don't understand. She has a bit of a smile. If you have the dreams, you'll understand, Shelley.
Well, perhaps. I do tend to be a sound sleeper.
I do hope it stays the same. Have a good evening. With that, Natalia will finish her drink and set it down before leaving.
Shelley will just take one last glance around the room before retiring to her own.
And that is it for the night.
Oh, Frank.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Hodored it.
You did. You Hodored so good.